The following is a production of Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports.
And it's right-handed over by Lorenz Newman from the left side of the front row. In the middle, here's a big hammer by Myolentz and the kill. Reagan Haynes up to Paige Schmidt, right back to Haynes. From the left side, she hammers it down. Played initially by Jensen, now Knapp bump setting for Haynes. Haynes hammers and she drills it home. Knapp, great pass to Schmidt, sets for Lentz. Lentz punishes that ball for a Bulldog point.
Video streaming on the Algona Radio YouTube channel is brought to you by Kemna Auto Center, an experience you deserve. Algona Municipal Utilities, community owned for community benefit. Iowa State Bank, helping people succeed. PMC Advantage Insurance Services, having the advantage makes all the difference. Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident. And Electronic Specialties, North Iowa's communication professional since 1961. Now, here's Hometown and Home Country Radio Sports Director, Tyler Lance.
And we are live from Algona High School, where North Central College Conference volleyball action gets underway here tonight as the Algona Bulldogs take on the Webster City Lynx live on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube live stream. As today the Bulldogs look to extend on their perfect start to the season, and it was a great start. Bulldogs went to that Spencer Early Bird tournament back on August 26th, and they swept right for the competition with a 3-0 record, winning all 6 sets they participated in. Meanwhile, for Webster City, they've been busy at a couple of tournaments as well, ready to open things up here in NCC play after a quality 6-3 start to the season, as this matchup pits 2 of the top 3 teams from last year's North Central Conference. Webster City finishing as the runner-up to conference champion Humboldt, and Algona finishing tied for 3rd place in the conference. So these 2 teams will get going here in about 5 to 10 minutes from the Bulldog High School Gymnasium, and we'll have that for you coming up here on KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. In the meantime, we're going to replay an interview we did with Algona head coach Missy Berkey. We chatted with her on Saturday for breakfast with the coaches, so we'll replay that interview right now on 92.7 KLGA. And Breakfast with the Coaches continues right now on Hometown Radio KLGA. So we're going to talk some Bulldog volleyball with head coach Missy Berkey. Coach, the summer always goes by very fast, as here we are at the end of August. High school volleyball season getting underway for the Bulldogs, and a chance here to kind of preview the season a little bit and recap the Spencer Early Bird tournament. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show today and giving us a few minutes to talk some Bulldog volleyball.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Coach, before we talk about that first tournament of the season, let's talk a bit about the off-season. Just take me through what your off-season program looked like and what you felt the girls did to get ready for the season.
You know, we try and get a lot of touches in the summer, so the whole month of June and July we did open gyms a couple days a week. Had great attendance at those, girls coming in wanting to get better. We also brought in a coach from Buena Vista and did a camp for us, and just kind of got us back on the court, touching the volleyball, just doing some things changing some things a little bit that maybe we weren't doing quite right, or, you know, just kind of changing our swings and getting them quicker. So, you know, I got to see the girls a lot this summer, and that was fun.
Coach, a lot of returning talent on the Bulldogs this year, and I'm going to start with the only senior listed on the roster. That's Macy Knapp. Kind of a junior-heavy team, but having Macy Knapp as a senior back at that libero position, really a big thing for the Bulldogs. So what does Macy bring to the team, especially with all the experience that she has?
You know, Macy is so consistent. We call her our Steady Eddie. She's always there to get the dig or get a good pass for us so we can set up our offense. With her being a senior this year, we've really put her in that leadership role of, you know, she's on the court 5 out of the 6 rotations except for serving. And so we need that leadership role out of her. And like I said, her good passes to start our offense so we can be successful.
Coach, a key on the team here for this season, of course, is getting good play from your setter. You had a couple good setters last year who both graduated, and now Taylor Van Otterloo appears to be one of the players ready to step into that role. Talking about the setter position, is it going to be just mainly on Taylor, or do you see anyone else kind of rotating in there and getting that role as well?
You know, right now, Taylor's filled that role really well. She's done a really good job setting the ball for us. You know, Charlie Dodds can set as well. She's playing for us all the way around. So there are some rotations where we do have Charlie kind of set in and take that first ball if we need her to, with Taylor being in the back. But Taylor's done a really good job through the Spencer early bird and showed us that she really has worked hard for that position. And so we're going to kind of go with that for right now.
We're talking Algona volleyball right now with head coach Missy Berkey. Coach, one of the exciting parts of that Spencer tournament was the varsity appearance of the freshman Kate Limbaugh. Led the team in kills over that tournament, and I would imagine you probably saw some good signs from her over the summer that she was going to make a big impact even as a freshman. So what did you see from her to say, hey, she's going to be playing a role right away and really a key role on this team?
Kate has just got great volleyball IQ. She plays on a club team. She travels with them. And she had a little setback this summer when she kind of had some surgery on her ankle. But she came back stronger than ever. And she is filling that role on the outside from graduating those seniors. I mean, she's consistent. She's wanting the ball. She's demanding the ball. She's actually playing all the way around for us. She's a great passer in the back row as well. And that height all the way around is something we're really looking for because we're not a real tall team this year. So really using her height to our advantage and getting the ball to the outside when we can.
And, Coach, the season, of course, got started earlier this week as you guys went to the Spencer early bird and started about as well as it could. You guys defeated South O'Brien, Spencer, and Okoboji, all 2-0. So take us through that Spencer early bird tournament and some of your biggest takeaways from that.
You never know what's going to happen at those early birds. They're still trying to figure out rotations, still trying to figure out where girls go and how they play together. And I was very, very happy with how they played together. They're such a scrappy team. They play hard all the time. They're digging balls out of the net. They're running after things, and they're really working together as a team. Our serving was something that really stood out to me. We left that night with 23 aces. So our plan throughout the season is to keep serving aggressively and get those teams out of system right away so that we can then get a free ball and run our offense.
Well, Coach, now NCC play starts to kick into gears. This week you're going to be taking on Webster City on Thursday. So this is really a two-part question. Part A is just what do you expect to see from Webster City? And then Part B is, of course, that it's always a pretty wide-open NCC, a lot of good competition competing for the top of the conference. What do you see of the league as a whole coming into the season?
Webster City you can never overlook. They always play us tough no matter where they're at in the year or, grade level-wise. So we're going to go in there. I've kind of looked at them a little bit, and they play a lot more games at the beginning of the year than we do. So we're just kind of taking it as we're going to keep growing from learning from each other at practice, getting ourselves better. And if we play our best volleyball, I feel we'll be competitive with anybody. Just keep being scrappy, keep talking, and keep being consistent, and we're going to be okay. The NCC, you just never know. Humboldt's kind of ranked in that 3A preseason ranking, so I think they're going to be tough. But like I said, we're not going to go into any game scared. I don't want to overlook anybody. I just want to go in and be competitive with everybody.
Coach, we're looking forward to seeing more Bulldog volleyball here as the season goes on, and congratulations on a great start to the season. Thank you so much for stopping by today and giving us a few minutes here to talk some Bulldog volleyball.
Thanks so much, Tyler.
That's Algona Bulldog volleyball coach Missy Berkey joining us on Breakfast with the Coaches. And that was Algona volleyball coach Missy Berkey for thoughts from this past Saturday, talking about that season-opening tournament at the Spencer Early Bird and getting ready for this matchup against Webster City as the 3-0 Algona Bulldogs take on the 6-3 Webster City Lynx in this North Central Conference opener. This is a big one here tonight. Obviously, not a lot of conference matches throughout the course of the season, so you want to take advantage of the ones that you have, and especially with Humboldt being a state-ranked team coming into the season, if a Webster City or an Algona wants to stick with Humboldt, be a competitor for the Wildcats this season, this one's a good match to win. You don't want to get one game behind in the loss column right off the bat. So even though it's only the first NCC match of the season, it's an important one here tonight from the Bulldog High School Gymnasium. We'll step aside for a few quick messages. When we come back, tonight's first serve between Algona and Webster City on Hometown Radio KLGA Algona, 92.7 FM, and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass for all your glass needs. Think American.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona tree service.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch and Daniel Foth.
Ed Service Station, service you can trust.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Sports club members bringing you this game. sponsors of this game broadcast.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Ruhnke Brothers. Experience the Ruhnke Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eichen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction. Let them do the work.
Water Connection. From softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by extreme cold weather and severe storms. Whether it's snow, ice, or extreme wind, don't be caught in the dark. At Murphy Farm Services, our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at its maximum efficiency. Contact your local certified ag, electrical, and generator sales and service dealer. Murphy Farm Services, delivering the power you need when you need it.
And we welcome you back to Algona High School for tonight's North Central Conference volleyball matchup between the 6-3 Webster City Lynx and the 3-0 Algona Bulldogs. Starting things off tonight, we'll look at the starting lineup for these teams. Webster City, under the direction of head coach Jess Howard, will have Lovey Prusman. They will also have Tristan Wright, Haley Brim, Evie Davis, Avery Popin, and Ashley Neidigger in their starting lineup with Morgan Hackbarf as the libero. Meanwhile, for Algona and head coach Missy Berkey, their starting lineup includes Bella Jo Dunning, Taylor Van Otterloo, Charlie Dodds, Kate Limbaugh, Hayden McLaughlin, and Reagan Haynes with Macy Knapp as the libero. Webster City defeated Algona last season in their NCC matchup 3-9, although all three individual sets were close. They defeated Algona 26-24 in the first set, 26-24 in the second set, and 25-21 in the third set, as both teams ultimately finished with similar records last year. Webster City going 16-13, Bulldogs going 17-13 overall. And these two teams, as you mentioned, second and third place in the North Central Conference. The Bulldogs here on our Algona Radio YouTube stream, they are down to the right wearing the black uniforms, the red trim along the side of the jerseys and the sleeves, the white Algona on the front, red numerals front and back outlined in white, and Bulldogs in the back of the uniform as well. For Webster City, they are down to our left. It's the black jersey tops and black jersey pants. It has the yellow sleeves on it, yellow links on the front, and yellow numerals on the front and back of the uniform. It's a slightly new look Algona High School gym here today. The floor, the hardwood floor here for the basketball and volleyball court, got a facelift in the offseason. A little bit of a new design, that Bulldog silhouette at midcourt. More of a black and white color scheme here in the gym with a little bit of red trim in there as well. But a new shiny floor here from Algona High School. The volleyball players get to break in here tonight with the first North Central Conference regular season matchup. It is Haley Brim, the Webster City senior, to serve and get things underway here tonight as Brim is down to our left. Brim will put the ball in the air, and we are underway from Algona High School as the serve flutters over the net to the Bulldog side. Algona returns it from the back row with Macy Knapp. Webster City overpasses into the net, and they will not retrieve that ball from the net as Algona goes up 1-0 on the early overpass by Webster City. So Lynx only hold the serve for one serve right there, and the Bulldogs will get the ball right back in their hands of the junior Gabby Van Tiger, one of the most accurate servers on the Bulldogs last season, as she'll serve right to left on the radio dial. Right across from the Bulldogs student section, rocking the jersey theme tonight. Van Tiger sends a knuckler over the net, and it's a little bit too far, a couple feet out beyond that baseline, and the service error will knot things up at one apiece in set number one. Webster City now turns to their senior Ashley Neidigger to serve. Neidigger set up to the near side of the court, down to our left, serves net, gets the initial ball off to Van Otterloo. Bulldogs attack of Kate Limbaugh, but it's a little bit too strong as Limbaugh misses a couple feet there beyond the baseline, and Webster City goes up 2-1. In spite of that attack error by Limbaugh, we will be calling her name A-Law tonight. Limbaugh, the Bulldog leader of 18 kills at the Spencer Early Bird Tournament in those 3 matches. Here's an attack left side by Limbaugh, and Limbaugh puts that one down. She snuck it by Brim in the back row, and the Bulldogs lock things up at 2 apiece in this first set. Not a lot to go on so far tonight, but when the Bulldogs have had the ball in their possession, they are trying to get to Limbaugh there in the front row. That 6-foot-tall freshman to finish off the attacks as Knapp lofts the serve back row. Webster City little trouble handling it, and they're going to get tied up there for a Bulldog service ace. Little collision there in the back row with Hackbarf, the Webster City libero, and Brim, that back row defender. They got tied up and didn't communicate who's going to take that serve as Knapp delivers the ace. Brim receives this one in the back row, gets it up front to the setter, Prusman. It's an attack from the left side by Webster City, and this one is going to go down. Davis puts that one into the hardwood, and it is a 3-3 tie as Davis gets that one to go from the left side for Webster City. Two teams trading points back and forth here in set number one. Webster City last year went 6-1 in North Central Conference play. Their lone loss to conference champion Humboldt. Bulldogs last year 4-3 in the NCC, tied for third in the conference. Dodds makes the second touch for Algona as Van Otterloo pushes it across. Set right back for Webster City. Limbaugh tries to flush it but can't put it down. Now Webster City from the right side. Big attack by Prusman, blocked by the Bulldogs. Kept alive by Webster City. They'll try to push it across, but it is stuffed. Tristan Wright tried to push that one across from the left side of the front row and got it stuffed right back in her direction as the Bulldogs pick up the early block and take a 4-3 lead. Charlie Dodds now to serve for Algona. Bulldog Jr. jump serves, sends it into the near corner. A little trouble again handling for Webster City as Burns had some trouble there. Pushed across in the third touch by Davis. Bulldogs return it for Limbaugh. Limbaugh, oh, she sent a curveball over the net and puts it down. 5-3 Bulldogs. When you see that 6-foot-tall freshman Kate Limbaugh in the front row, you're expecting a huge punishing attack, but that time she threw a little curveball there at Webster City, kind of spun the ball laterally. Webster City, they were getting ready for the big attack, didn't expect the off-speed pitch there as the Bulldogs are up 5-3. Here's set in the middle for Davis. Davis taps it over. Nice dig by Van Tiger for the Bulldogs, and Limbaugh pushes it back across. And trouble in the back row again for Webster City as Burns can't get a good pass up to the front row. Limbaugh able to finish the play for Algona, and it's 6-3 Bulldogs. A lot of trouble early on at the back row defense of Webster City. That initial pass, that first ball to the front row, not looking good so far as Dodds serves it back row. Here's a better pass up front, set in the middle for Burns, and this is going to be a Webster City point. It was a net violation called against the Bulldogs. And the Lynx will catch a break there because that attack was going out of bounds, but on the net violation by the Bulldogs, Webster City will get a point here to make it 6-4. Wright serves. It is a low driving serve. Dumped over on second contact by Van Otterloo after that pass up front by Dodds. Here is Barnabas flying in for the attack. Can't put it down though as the Bulldogs will return the free ball the other way with Van Otterloo on the touch. Now set by Tristan Wright in the middle. Tapped over by Davis. Bulldogs send it right back in her direction. And Algona will get the point. As 2 hits called against Webster City. Bulldogs doing a good job early here contesting at the net. Blocking balls right back to Webster City. Not letting them send anything over for free. As Limbaugh now serves, sets him near the basketball baseline as Limbaugh comes on the approach. Jump serves a low sinking line drive over the net. Dumped over on second contact, and Wright is going to find the hardwood for Webster City. That time a better pass up front for the Lynx. They found Wright in that front row, and Wright wisely put that one over on second contact. The Bulldogs weren't quite where they needed to be defensively. 7-5 Bulldogs. Hackbarf sends a twisting serve to Dodds in the middle of the Bulldog back row. Van Otterloo touch number 2 finds Haynes. Haynes drills it into the back row. Popped up in the air by Burns for Webster City. Now front, Barnafus pushes it over, far side of the court. Dodds to Van Otterloo, bumps it near side to Haynes. Haynes triples it over the net. Tipped and kept alive by Wright for Webster City. Returned by Barnafus. Barnafus hits it into the net. She can't get it over on that third touch, and the Bulldogs go up 8-5. Nothing too fancy so far for Algona, but just continuing to get the ball into play on the Webster City side, letting the Lynx make some mistakes themselves. A lot of jump service here for the Bulldogs as Beljo Dunning delivers the jump serve. The ball rockets into the front row to Nydigger, then put over on the third touch by Barnafus, and it will go out of bounds along the far side. Out of bounds, and it's 9-5 Algona. Webster City still looking for that cohesive attack on offense. They have not sent a whole lot of hard stuff the Bulldog direction so far. Dunning serves a little shorter this time. Hackbarf to the knees to dig it out. And Nydigger hits it into the Bulldog back row. Dunning up to Van Otterloo, sets for Haynes. Haynes flying in, tried for the punishing attack that time, but didn't get enough elevation on it. It is into the net, 9-6. Algona on top of Webster City, but the Lynx will go side out here and get the serve back for Jamie Putney, their senior. Putney standing in the black, newly painted area of that basketball paint as she will serve into the net. Service there will turn it right back over to Algona to make it 10-6 Bulldogs. Bulldogs have the letters NCC for North Central Conference written there on the hardwood. This new floor design is, here's Webster City setting up an attack. It is a ball that is launched out of bounds by Popin, and out of bounds, no one touched it at the net for the Bulldogs. It was a better set that time for Webster City, but Popin got too much on that attack. 11-6 Bulldogs as Van Otterloo touches the serve over. Lynx send the ball up to the ceiling off the hands of Putney, and Hackbarth will play the free ball, trickling over the net. Van Otterloo sets on the backside. Here comes Hayden McLaughlin. Can't put it down, though, initially, but another errant pass by Webster City. It went off the hands of Tristan Wright. She couldn't find Avery Poppin, and the Bulldogs take a 12-6 lead. First timeout is forced by Webster City as Coach Howard will take the timeout. We'll take the timeout with Webster City. It's 12-6 Algona, set number 1 on Hometown Radio, KLGA.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Erpeldine Voigt and Company, CPAs, they're not just about taxes.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Good Samaritan Society, Algona's senior housing and service rooted in God's love.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona. Call 515-320-2491.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Macy Knapp and you're listening to Algona Volleyball on KLGA.
Macy Knapp and the Algona volleyball team right now on top of Webster City, 12-6 in set number 1 from Algona High School. The Bulldogs have the serve right now. Taylor Van Otterloo for Algona. Van Otterloo taking over as the primary setter this year for Algona after Paige Schmidt and Andy Jensen, their 2 main setters last year, graduated. Van Otterloo end over and serve, and it is off the hands of Barnafus and out of bounds. Webster City just having a devil of a time handling the Bulldogs serves in that back row, and it is 13-6 Algona. Even on the balls that haven't turned into service aces, passes up front still have not been on target as it's overpassed by Webster City off the serve, and the Bulldogs weren't ready for it as it drops in. Coach Berkey almost going down to her knees on the Bulldogs sideline. Webster City got a big break there as they sent a meatball over the net. But the Bulldogs were caught off guard by that overpass, and it's 13-7 now. Algona up by 6 over Webster City. Brim will serve it for the Lynx, who served at just under 91% efficiency this season, and right on cue, they serve it out of bounds. That serve is yanked off to the far side of the court, right from that Bulldog student section, which is packed here tonight for the first home match of the season, and it's 14-7 right now. Bulldogs on top. Gabby Van Tiger will serve here for Algona, who defeated South O'Brien, Spencer, and Okoboji in that 3-0 start at the early bird tournament. Hackbarth deflects the serve sideways, and Webster City has to settle for another free ball back to Algona. Van Otterloo sets it up near side of the court, bumped over the net by Limbaugh. Hackbarth gets it up front to Prusman. Ball's tapped to the net, and a misfire by Popin, and the Bulldogs go up 15-7. Webster City still struggling with the basics so far in this one, which is quite the surprise considering the success they had last year, beating Algona 3-0 at the Webster City Gymnasium, finishing with a 17-13 record and making the regional semifinals in Class 3A. Algona also making the regional semis. Here's a left side attack, and Wright able to drill that one home for Webster City to make it 15-8. Best looking attack of the night for Webster City as Wright picks up her first kill. 15-8 Bulldogs. Nidegger to serve. Arcs it over the net, backpedaling and making the first touch is Knapp in the back row. Now Van Otterloo will find Dodds, who sends the free ball back to Webster City. Here's Prusman setting middle for Davis. Davis curves it over. A diving save by Macy Knapp. Finds Van Otterloo. Now here's Dodds. Dodds hits it over. Webster City right there. Prusman looking left side, flying in for the attack, getting it blocked as right, kept alive by Webster City, and the free ball played back to the Bulldogs. Diving save Van Tiger. Van Otterloo locates Limbaugh, hits it into the back corner of the Webster City defense. Prusman tries again for Wright. Wright gets stuffed by Charlie Dodds. 16-8 Bulldogs. That blocking in the front row has been excellent so far tonight for Algona, and the Bulldogs doubling up the Lynx in set number 1. Macy Knapp will be serving right now. Bulldogs just under 93% efficiency serving last season. They were 93.5% at the Spencer tournament as Wright taps it over. Van Tiger right there to cover the front row for the Bulldogs. Now Limbaugh flies in. She flies in again. 2 huge attacks. Webster City staves them both off, and they get the ball back to the Bulldog side. Knapp gets it up front to Van Otterloo, looks backside to Dodds. Wright hands it over the net to Hackbarth on the Webster City side. Prusman looking for Wright. Wright from the left side, punches it over the net. Van Otterloo there for Algona. Knapp finds Dodds. Dodds hits that one into the net, and Webster City will get a hard-earned point. Kate Limbaugh came in for the Bulldogs. She sent 2 missiles over to the Webster City side, but a couple of nice digs by the Lynx kept that point alive, and ultimately they outlast Algona to make the score 16-9 as the Bulldogs are on top. And right on cue, they will whistle, serve into the net to give the Bulldogs a point right back on the Popin service error. 17-9 is your score right now with Algona in the lead. Here is Dodds with the jump serve. Bulldog Jr. sends it near side. Wright makes the initial touch. Barnafus Looking over to Prusman, who pushes it back to the Bulldogs. Now here's Limbaugh elevating and bringing down the punishment. 18-9 Algona. Limbaugh was able to get the kill there. I'm not even so sure she timed that jump quite right. Look, she took off a little bit early, but it didn't matter. She was able to crush that one in there for a kill. Here's Dodds again, end over end serve into the back row. It'll handcuff Burns. Hackbarth will hit it into the net. Webster City on that third touch. They cannot get it over, and it's 19-9 Bulldogs. We've seen these teams, not really either of them going on a big run, but the Bulldogs slowly extending this lead out to 19-9, trying to go on a big run to end the set, as they are 6 points away right now. Wright will push it into the corner with nobody home. Great vision that time. Tristan Wright gets the Webster City point to make it 19-10. That near side corner right from the Bulldog bench. Nobody home there as Wright will now serve. Wright sends a missile into the back row. Dodds able to turn it aside and knock it up in the air. Van Otterloo to Knapp. Knapp for the back row, drills it over the net, but Hackbarth there for the Webster City dig. Prusman tried to push back across. Bulldogs sent it right back her direction. Now Barnafus taps it over the net. In the middle, it is clubbed over by Bella-Jo Dunning for Algona. Now Webster City has Barnafus tipping it down the line. Knocked up in the air by Dodds. To Knapp, now to Limbaugh. Limbaugh drills it right on the paint. A Bulldog point. Limbaugh found that sideline along the far side, and it's 20-10 Algona. Give the freshman 4 kills already. Again, you go back to that Spencer tournament. Limbaugh had 18 kills in the 3 matches. Reagan Haynes second on the team in that tournament with 13 as Limbaugh sends a hard serve into the back row. Webster City will dump it over on second contact. Bulldogs right there. Here's Haynes from the left side. Haynes down the line. Hackbarth there to dig it for Webster City. Now it is a punch over the net by Barnafus. Nice athletic play there. She was going out of bounds. Now Limbaugh from the back row brings the punishment. Pass goes near the net, and it will stay right there as Webster City can't deflect it over. 21-10 Algona. That's another huge hit by Limbaugh, which again, even though that doesn't result in a kill because Webster City had the dig, she just hit it so hard they passed that, or overpassed it into the front row. Here's a set punched over the net by Prusman for Webster City. And that ball's going to be knocked off the hands of Van Otterloo for the Bulldogs as Barnafus picks up the Webster City point. 21-11 now as Hackbarth serves. Wearing that white libero jersey for Webster City. Serves to her counterpart, Macy Knapp. Bulldogs get it over to Haynes. Haynes angles the back corner. Burns got handcuffed there. Webster City on the third hit. They're going to send it across and out of bounds. Webster City just disjointed there on that possession as that initial ball handcuffed Burns. That pass from Burns stayed in the back row, and then it resulted in a hit from the front row that was sent well out of bounds. Dunning sends a serve over for Algona. Webster City sends it the other way with Barnafus, and Barnafus will find that corner to get a Webster City point. 22-12 Bulldogs. Putney will come in here for Webster City to serve. Putney down to our left stands a step towards the near side of the court, takes 2 steps forward and lobs a serve into the back row of the Bulldogs. Dodds gets it up to Van Otterloo. Haynes coming in, can't put the attack down. Lynx will send a free ball over on that third touch. Knapp on the line, finds Van Otterloo, taps it over on the second touch, but Webster City able to cover that one up. Sent back over by Barnafus. Limbaugh up to Van Otterloo now. It's punched over the net by McLaughlin. Almost got that one to drop. Webster City saved it though. Attack by Barnafus, sits on top of the net, and it will be a Bulldog point. A point for the Bulldogs as ball ends up dropping out of bounds, and it's 23-12 Algona. 2 points away from taking this first set in convincing fashion. Van Otterloo right hands this one over the net. Putney in the back row. She'll find Wright. Punched down the line by Barnafus and out of bounds. Bulldogs have set point in the first set. 24-12 Algona. Rolling right now against Webster City. As Van Otterloo tries to put the finishing touches on this one. Short serve Van Otterloo, and this one will drift out of bounds to the near side of the court. As Webster City stays alive in this first set for at least one more point. With a score of 24-13. It'll be Brim to serve. Stands over heels at the edge of the basketball baseline down to our left, near side of the court. Hammers the ball off the hardwood a couple of times before her approach. Limbaugh makes the initial touch in the back row, finds Van Otterloo. Here is Dodds towards the back corner, punched up in the air by Brim, by Putney that is. Now Hackbarth will punch it over the net, sliding save by Haynes for Algona. It's McLaughlin an attack from the middle, and Webster City won't be able to return this one as Hayden McLaughlin wipes it off the block attempt, and it's 25-13, the Bulldogs winning in set number 1. So Bulldogs take a convincing win in the first set. Webster City will try to regroup for set number 2 when we come back on KLGA 92.7 and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce, 2 sauces for all seasons.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance.
Daylight Donuts open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Fairway, everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
You ever get that feeling that, like, something's missing? I just can't put my finger on it. Is there some sort of parade? No. It couldn't be. Did I just hear people cheering? Bingo night must be getting rowdy tonight. Wait a second. That's high school football on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Join us this week as Algona faces Kemper Catholic on KLGA and Bishop Garrigan faces Wrightsville on KLGZ.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Hayden McLaughlin, and you're listening to Algona Volleyball on KLGA.
Hayden McLaughlin picking up the set-ending kill in set number 1, and the Bulldogs roll to a 25-13 victory as they take advantage of some questionable defense in the back row by Webster City, and the Bulldogs off and rolling here in their first set at home, first match at home, winning the first set 25-13, and now we'll try to maintain that momentum here with a fresh second set. Meanwhile, Webster City will try to regroup. That serve-receive just has to be better for Webster City. Just not a lot of good passing up into the front row for Webster City. Just a couple aces by the Bulldogs, but even outside of the aces, a lot of attack errors by Webster City just because that first pass is kind of off target, then they can't get a good set, and you don't really put your attackers in a good position. So Webster City just offensively couldn't really get things going, and it all kind of started with not being able to effectively receive the serves the way they wanted to in that first set. So we'll see how they do here in set number 2 against a Bulldog team that's really focused on serving over that Spencer tournament. We heard Coach Berkey talk about that this weekend on Breakfast with the Coaches. Bulldogs had 23 aces in those 3 matches, so they had plenty of aces to go around as Van Otterloo sends it over the net. Set 2 underway from Algona High School. Prusman sets in the middle. Flying in for the attack is Popin, but she can't put it down. Bulldogs send it the other way, but I think Dodds went underneath the net, and she did. Dodds on that third touch of the Bulldogs had one of her feet go across that basketball and volleyball half-court line that is bright white on the court, standing out more than anything. Nidegger serves, end over end. Limbaugh will overpass the ball, and it is flushed by Webster City. A 6-foot-tall sophomore, Davis, stood above the net there and sent that one straight down back into the Bulldog side. 2-0 Webster City with a better start. And that time it's the Bulldogs overpassing off the serve. Nidegger one step forward, end over end serve. Limbaugh gets the ball to McLaughlin. Back to Limbaugh. Bulldogs a little disorganized offensively. A rocket ball sent down by Davis to the Bulldog side, but they somehow return it back to Webster City. From the right side now, ball's hit through the back row by Popin, and a Webster City point. 3-0 in the first set, and the Lynx feeling a lot better here about set number 2 than they did about set number 1, taking the early lead over the Bulldogs. I'm not sure Webster City strung 3 points in a row at any point together during set number 1 as Limbaugh receives the serve. Good pass to Van Otterloo. She'll find Dodds. Pushes it over the net. Nidegger bumps it up in the air. Pushed across by Brim for Webster City. Near side of the court, here's Haynes. Haynes brings the punishment. Punched up in there by Webster City. The ball flutters to Charlie Dodds, who will flush that one over the net. Lynx sent a floating ball that just cleared over the net, and it was right where Charlie Dodds could do some big-time damage. And Bulldogs have their first point of set 2. It is 3-1 Webster City right now, after the Bulldogs took the first set. Gabby Van Tiger jump serves, spinning laterally. Again, trouble to serve by Webster City, and this one's going to be a Van Tiger ace as that pass went out of bounds towards the far side official. He may have had a play on it, but the Webster City front row players did not, as Gabby Van Tiger makes it a 3-2 score. Van Tiger again. Better pass this time for Webster City. Prusman sets on the backside. It is sent down the line, but out of bounds. Popin had the right idea there, but just couldn't quite find the mark along the near side of the court. And the Bulldogs have scored 3 in a row to tie things up at 3 apiece in set number 2. Van Tiger takes a couple of dribbles off the hardwood, serves off the tape, and staying on the Bulldog side as that one won't deflect over. 4-3 Webster City off the Bulldog service error.
Number 10, Barnabas.
Webster City has Popin to serve. Into the back row to Knapp. Good pass to Van Otterloo. Sets backside for McLaughlin. McLaughlin cross-court attack. Dug out by Barnabas. Bumped up in there by Hackbar. Flying in for the attack. And getting stuffed is Prusman. Bulldogs all over that one. Limbaugh right in the middle of the action there for the Bulldogs. And we are tied at 4 apiece. As Macy Knapp back to serve right now. Lone senior in the Bulldog roster as Knapp sends the serve into the back row to Putney. Attacked by Webster City, and that one is going to find the mark in the near side corner. 5-4 Lynx.
Right to serve.
And now right to serve is after the teams traded 3-point runs there, trading a few points as the Bulldogs down 5-4 in set number 2. Here's right, and serves a little bit too strong. Knapp and Van Tiger wisely letting that one go as it drops out of bounds. Out beyond the baseline to tie things up at 5 apiece in set number 2. Now Charlie Dodds, who came into this match of 7 aces, serves middle of the back row to Brim. Pass up front is a good one, set by Webster City, but the attack by Davis is out of bounds. Wright had the set that time, but didn't quite put the ball where Davis wanted it to, so Davis had to take a little off that attack there and got underneath it to send it out of play. Dodds serves into the back row, and that'll be a Bulldog ace. She got Prusman turned sideways that time, and ball deflects backwards and out of bounds to give the Bulldogs a 7-5 lead. Dodds with ace number 1 of the night for her. Another jump serve by Dodds. Puts a little velocity on this one. Initial contact made by Putney in the back row. Ball is flushed over the net. A diving dig by Knapp initially. Bulldogs kept it alive, but they can't keep it in between the posts. Knapp had that great diving dig, but after a couple of deflections, ball will flutter out of bounds to give Webster City the point. And score is 7-6. Bulldogs with the 1-point edge in set number 2. Hackbarth, the senior libero for Webster City. Their ace leader of 13 sends it over. Knapp makes the play, finds Van Otterloo. Now Limbaugh flies in, can't put it down though. Webster City for the good deflection at the net. Now Barnabas the other way, sends it way out of bounds. That one was almost out of bounds on the basketball court as the ball sailed on Barnabas that time to make it 8-6 Bulldogs. Now Limbaugh to serve. Limbaugh with 8 aces coming into tonight. Serves from near side of the court, sends a line drive into the back rows. Hackbarth comes over to play it and pops it straight up in the air. Now Neidinger sends it over on the third touch, out of bounds to the near side corner. 9-6 Bulldogs. After a slow start, starting to roll a little bit here in set number 2 and create a bit of separation in front of Webster City. The Bulldog freshman Limbaugh approaches again, sends a rocket ball down the line and just out of bounds. That one was inches off the red paint in the near side corner, but Limbaugh just missed, and it's 9-7. But that's okay, you've got a couple-point lead here. Coach Berkey talks a lot about serving aggressively and trying to hunt out those aces as Limbaugh did right there, but just missed. As Prusman sends a serve low, and this is going to be an ace for Webster City. Prusman sent a ball that just had enough to get over the net and was dropping quickly by the time it reached the Bulldog back row of Dodds and Knapp. As it's 9-8 now. Webster City down by 1. Prusman and over into Knapp, who backpedals 2 steps to make the play. Finds Van Otterloo. Now Haynes parachuting in for the attack. Can't put it down. And Webster City returns the free ball back to the Bulldog side. Into the corner, and it drops in. Maybe it wasn't so free after all. I saw the lower amount of velocity that one came over with. Just a little bump over the net, but perfectly placed into that corner to tie this up at 9. Webster City doing a little better job here of creating some offense against the Bulldogs in this second set. Limbaugh receives the serve, finds Van Otterloo. Haynes sends it over the net. A little trouble there for Neidinger, but it's eventually punched over by Barnabas. Knapp to Van Otterloo, tapped over by Dunning, kept alive by Webster City. Ball's right at the net. Lynx try to flush it. Dodds there for the dig for Algona. In the back row, it's Knapp. Knapp has the ball crawl over the net. It's pinballed around, and the Bulldogs get a point as Webster City gets called for a lift. That ball sat tantalizingly on top of the net there, but eventually spun over for Knapp. The friendly hometown spin there, and it's 10-9 Bulldogs. As Dunning is back to serve right now. Dunning jump serves, line drive rocket played by Hackbar from the back row. Right, bump sets it to Neidigger, who pushes it over. Van Otterloo sends it over on the second touch for the Bulldogs. Initial contact by Wright for Webster City. They'll find Barnabas. Barnabas drills it. Dunning digs in the back row. Dodge will bump it up in there to Limbaugh. Limbaugh tries to hammer it down. The dig by Hackbar for almost overpassed. Thought Webster City was under the net there, and the Bulldogs will ultimately get the point anyways here. It looked like on the second touch, I believe that was Neidigger who looked like she was going under the net. But the point is awarded here to the Bulldogs on the basis of, I would say, ground rules. They're pointing at the ceiling right now. The officials were saying that ball did touch the ceiling, but I believe Webster City was saying it did not. So are we going to just replay the point? We're going to replay the point there. So no point for Algona on that one. Officials will say they're not sure. If the ball touches the ceiling out of bounds, that should be a dead ball, but they were unsure on that as Bulldogs will get the point anyways. Haynes delivering the kill from the near side of the court. Yeah, everyone was pointing up there for Webster City, talking about the ceiling, and that's one where the official said, we didn't see it, let's just replay it. Same result anyways, as Dunning serves low. Lynx will return the ball with Barnabas, but Barnabas arcs the attack out of bounds, and it's 12-9 Bulldogs, and Coach Howard will expend a timeout right now for Webster City. We'll take another timeout as well. Bulldogs on top 12-9 in set 2 on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Bringing you this game.
North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East, Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
Oak Crest Funeral Service, celebrating a life lived.
Bill's Auto and Truck Repair Service is the difference.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Signworks Inc. For all your signage needs and printed apparel, stop in or call 295-9544.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping, 515-320-3840 or schindlerlawncare@gmail.com. More sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Greg Penning & Company, certified public accountants where everyone counts.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small, they love them all.
Hy-Vee, use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fill your car.
J&J Custom Meats, continuing the traditions in Whittemore.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
Lichter's Garage Door Service, a reputation you can trust. Call 515-295-5988.
Lusher's Family Dentistry, serving families since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
As we come back, Algona's on top of Webster City 12-9, but now make it 13-9 as an errant attack by the Lynx goes out of bounds. It is set number 2 after the Bulldogs won the first set 25-13, and they are on top by 4 right now in the second set. Dunning jump serve, and she will misfire on that serve. Looked like she maybe didn't get quite lined up there on her approach. Almost stepped over that baseline on the serve and kind of had to stop short there, and when she planted, was with a little bit of a short step there, so it kind of threw off the serve as she sent it into the net. So service there for the Bulldogs, gives it back to Brim in Webster City. Brim arcs it back row, Limbaugh turns sideways and deflects the ball over to Van Otterloo. Now Knapp for the back row, tries to hammer it down there, but that'll go for a Webster City point. As Knapp had the swing on the ball there, and it's 13-11. Brim, down to her left, shuffles and approaches, sends it over to Knapp. Knapp to Van Otterloo, she'll tap it over on second contact. Now Webster City will try to set up an attack for Wright, and Wright wipes it off the block attempt of Hayden McLaughlin and Taylor Van Otterloo, and it is 13-12 as the Lynx fight back for a couple of points here coming out of the timeout. Wright has been the kill leader so far this season for Webster City with 52 kills. She was their lead returner after having 91 kills last season. Webster City's top 3 kill leaders all graduating, though, following last year's campaign. As Haynes sends the ball over to Webster City, Lynx will return the ball out of bounds. They tried for the free ball that time, and they just guided it out of bounds along the far side of the court, and the Bulldogs go up 14-12. The Lynx, they've won 6 of their last 7 matches with Algona. They beat Algona in straight sets last year as the overpass is fumbled around by the Bulldogs, and they're going to run out of touches here. There's a chance to do some damage there, but there was a little confusion in the front row for the Bulldogs as to who should handle that overpass, and as a result, Webster City will get a little freebie right there to make it 14-13. Neidigger sends it in over end, dug by Knapp. Van Otterloo short set for McLaughlin. McLaughlin attack out of bounds. Out of bounds along the far side, and Webster City punching back here to tie it at 14. Boy, Lynx were out of sync in that first set. Bulldogs had them all over the place in the serve receive, but Webster City much more organized here in the second set. And the Bulldogs have had some issues with communication as Dodds attacks from the near side, and Dodds puts that into the hardwood. Dodds will reinstate the serve for the Bulldogs and make it 15-14. And she will pick up her second kill of the night. And Gabby Van Tiger will serve now for Algona. Up by 1 in a tightly contested second set. Van Tiger sends a knuckler over the net, and Van Tiger picks up another ace. Brim can't handle that one coming out of the back row, but Van Tiger placed that one perfectly. It was short. Brim had the stride forward, and then just the English on that ball caused it to deflect sideways. Another low serve by Van Tiger, but this one too low and into the net. It is 16-15 now as Webster City strikes back to within 1. Barnabas back in for Webster City. Popin to serve. Popin twists it into the back row. Knapp backpedaling and finding Van Otterloo. Now Limbaugh. Limbaugh puts a little velocity on it. Dug in the back row by Popin. Now Wright will set up the attack far side of the court. Dug out by Van Tiger. Van Otterloo stays out of the net. Gets it up in the air to McLaughlin. And McLaughlin will deflect it off the hands of Hackbar for the Bull on point. McLaughlin put enough spin on that ball to send it backwards off the Libero's hands and make it 17-15 Algona. Hayden McLaughlin, kill number 3 of the night. Putney into the Lynx lineup in that back row. As Knapp comes up and jump serves, sends a rocket into the gut of Putney, who popped it up in the air to Hackbarth and pushed over by Wright. Wright almost on the corner. It's punched twice by the Bulldogs, and it's played over the net. Bulldogs kept it alive. Ball pushed back over by Webster City. Now Knapp bumping it near side for Limbaugh. Limbaugh right hands it over the net. Hackbarth diving dig. Flushed over by Davis, but Knapp right there for Algona. Here's Limbaugh trying again. Blocked back by Webster City, and the Bulldogs can't return this one. 17-16 as the Lynx get a hard-fought point right there. They almost got the point very early in that back and forth, but Bulldogs made a nice play to punch the ball around a couple of times to keep it alive, but ultimately Webster City wins that one anyways. Dodds elevates the ball to Bella Jo Dunning, but Dodds will get called for the lift on that set attempt, and the Lynx have tied the second set at 17 apiece. And they have their junior Tristan Wright to serve. Had 6 aces coming into tonight, sends a rocket ball back row to Knapp. Over to Dodds, now for Limbaugh. Limbaugh right side attack, doesn't go down as it's right into the tracks of Wright. Hackbarth bump setting, she will find Prusman, but Prusman misfires into the net. Prusman is looking for the big kill shot that time, but maybe that pass, or the set I should say, just a little off target, didn't allow Prusman to do the damage she wanted. Dodds serves it into the back row to Putney. Now here's an attack by Barnabas. Can't put it down. Bulldogs dig with Knapp. Here comes Limbaugh on the attack. Limbaugh cross-court attack, and she puts it in. It just stayed in bounds for Limbaugh, and it's 19-17 Bulldogs. We are getting to the point of this second set where every point feels big, and a 2-point lead gives you at least a little breathing room here for Algona. We'll see how aggressively Dodds wants to serve as Dodds flies up, sends it into the back row to Putney. She'll find Wright. Wright off target on the set, but it was still put over the net by Davis. Now Bulldogs attack of Limbaugh. Limbaugh down the line and deals out the punishment. 20-17 Bulldogs. Webster City had a chance for a big attack from the left side by Davis, but a poor set by Wright caused Davis to lean way back. Just casually pushed the ball over the net to the Bulldogs to make sure that ball stayed in play. Ultimately, the Bulldogs get off a good attack of their own. Limbaugh puts it down, and it's 20-17 Algona. We'll come back in 30 seconds after this timeout on KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
Sponsors of this game broadcast.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Ruhnke Brothers. Experience the Ruhnke Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Tafe Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eichen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction. Let them do the work.
Water Connection. From softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Charlie Dodds, and you're listening to Algona Volleyball on KLGA.
Algona is trying to sneak away in the second set. Bulldogs up 1-0, but little company here in set 2 from Webster City at the score 20-17. Dodds is serving right now for Algona, and she drops it in for an ace. A perfectly placed serve by Charlie Dodds, and the Bulldogs are starting to open it up just enough here in the second set. 21-17. A couple of big points coming up as Webster City tries to fight back. Dodds serves back row. Putney, good pass in front to Wright. Sends the set cross court to Prusman. Prusman is going to put this one down. It was off the hands of Knapp, deflecting off that Bulldogs scoreboard behind the baseline. And Webster City gets a sorely needed point to stay afloat in the second set, 21-18. Algona dominated the first set, 25-13. Now Hackbarf serves for Webster City. Knuckle over the net, well played by Knapp. To Van Otterloo, to Limbaugh. Limbaugh pushes it back across. Putney up to right. Right looking for Barnefus from the left side. Barnefus hammers it into the net. It's a Bulldog point. Attack air Webster City, and it's 22-18 Algona. Oh, so close to taking a hard-fought second set. And a commanding 2-0 lead as Limbaugh serves. Limbaugh jump serves right to Hackbarf. Finds right in the middle to Barnefus, and Barnefus able to flush it. That time a great job on the serve receive for Webster City. Hackbarf, that senior libero, a beautiful pass up front. Right puts it right where she needed to, and Barnefus gets the flush. It's 22-19. Here's Prusman, sends a laterally spinning serve to Knapp in the Bulldog back row. Now here comes Haynes. Haynes offers up the attack, and Webster City can't return this one. Off the hands of Hackbarf in the back row and out of bounds. Haynes with the big point for the Bulldogs, and it's 23-19. Webster City wants a sub with Olivia Burns coming into the back row. And Bella-Jo Dunning now serving. 23-19 Algona. Bulldogs 2 points away, but Dunning with the service there. She misfires into the net. That ball deflecting just below the tape, and it's 23-20. Webster City still fighting here with Brim now serving. Algona 24-13 against Webster City, dating back to 2007. Lynx having won 6 of the last 7 against the Bulldogs. Those the serve sent out of bounds by Brim. Big service there right there, and the Bulldogs are on the brink of a 2-0 lead. 24-20, here's Van Otterloo. Taylor Van Otterloo into the back row, backpedaling is Hackbarf. She'll find Prusman. Prusman looking for Nydigger, who taps it over. Van Otterloo to Knapp, to Limbaugh. Limbaugh hammers, but it goes into the net. 24-21. Webster City going to need a big run here to save the second set, but still an opportunity as Nydigger goes back to serve. Nydigger just got that one over as Dodds digs to the Bulldogs. McLaughlin right back to Dodds. She'll push it across. Here's a bump up in the air to Brim, who pushes it back to the Bulldogs. Now Van Otterloo sets middle for McLaughlin. McLaughlin trying to finish it, but she just missed out of bounds. After getting the set-winning point in the first set, McLaughlin nearly found that back corner to also finish the second set, but instead, 24-22, Bulldog lead down to 2. Nydigger low serve, and the Bulldogs can't field it out. They can't dig that serve out. There was a miscommunication between McLaughlin and Limbaugh. Ball landed in between them, and they were caught looking at each other saying, I thought you were going to take it. No, I thought you were going to take it. So Coach Berkey will take a timeout for Algona to try to get things back on track. Webster City has ripped off the run they've needed to get back into this one with the score 24-23 late in the second set. And we're at the point now, remember, of course, it's first one of 25, but you've got to win by 2. So if Webster City get the point here to tie it at 24, you get into a spot where it's all right, first team to get 2 in a row here ends up winning it. Bulldogs had the second set, all but one, but Webster City, give them credit, they have fought back. Now the Bulldogs have to find a way to receive this serve of Nydigger, who just delivered the ace, her first of the night. 24-23. Nydigger cannot afford a service error here as she sends it over. Limbaugh coming in near side of the court to play it. Van Otterloo up in the air to Dodds. Dodds right hands it back across down the line. It dropped in, but it didn't stay between the posts. Dawes' momentum was kind of taking her out of bounds there, and she did land it in the corner, but it wasn't in between the posts when it crossed over the net, and we are tied at 24. Webster City now trying to steal the second set away. Knapp receives the serve up to Van Otterloo, to Limbaugh in the back row. Can't put it down as Webster City can now attack the other way. Here's right flying in, right hammers. Doesn't put it down as Knapp digs. McLaughlin to Limbaugh. Limbaugh brings the big time punishment. Ball flutters, and it drops out of bounds. It drops out of bounds, and the Bulldogs go up by 1, 25-24. All on the strength of that huge attack by Limbaugh. And boy, you feel for the Webster City players trying to dig that attack, because if that's a lower velocity, that ball is into play with no problem at all, but with how hard Limbaugh hit it, that ball sailed out of bounds. Van Tiger serves out of bounds, and we're tied at 25. A service error for the Bulldogs, who've had a couple more of those than they'd like here in the second set, and we are locked up at 25. Popin to serve. Popin sends it back row, and the Bulldogs wisely let it go. Van Tiger and Knapp looked very tempted that time, but they let it go, and it's out of bounds. And for the, we'll call it the third time, the Bulldogs have set point. Although they had set point for quite a while when they were up 24-20. Here comes Knapp. Knapp end over end serve. Good pass up to the front. Here is the punch over the net by Wright. Right there is Van Tiger for Algona. Webster City will block it back to the Bulldog side. Here's Limbaugh floating it over the top. Right there is Putney for Webster City. Now Wright will attack down the line. It is out of bounds. It's out of bounds. Wright can't locate the attack, and the Bulldogs survive in the second set. 27-25. It's a 2-0 lead for Algona. We head to the third set from Algona High School after this on KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
Sponsors of this game broadcast.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Ruhnke Brothers. Experience the Ruhnke Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Tafe Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eichen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction. Let them do the work.
Water Connection. From softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
You ever get that feeling that like something's missing? I just can't put my finger on it. Is there some sort of parade? No. It couldn't be. Did I just hear people cheering? Bingo night must be getting rowdy tonight. Wait a second. That's high school football on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Join us this week as Algona faces Kemper Catholic on KLGA and Bishop Garrigan faces Wrightsville on KLGZ.
Hey Bulldog fans, this is Reagan Haynes and you're listening to Algona Volleyball on KLGA.
As we come back for set number 3 from Algona High School, the Bulldogs have a 2-0 lead over the Webster City Lynx. Algona taking the first set 25-13 and then surviving a big scare in set number 2 to win it 27-25. The initial serve by Webster City's Jalen Barnafas goes out of bounds, and the Bulldogs take the first point in set number 3. Well, you're always watching very closely to see how the team that's down 2-0 comes out in the third set, especially after losing a heartbreaker like set number 2. Lynx put in all that effort, all that energy, all that focus to come back and nearly steal it from the Bulldogs, but Algona ultimately wins it at the end. How much spirit will the Lynx have here in the third set as they try to win 3 in a row and stun the Bulldogs? They'll get a point here on the deflected ball that goes out of bounds. Point for the Lynx, tied up at 1 apiece. But I'd say the first probably 10 total points are really going to set the tone here. Bulldogs get out to an 8-2 lead. Going to be hard for Webster City to come back, obviously, but we'll see how hard the Lynx fight back as Dodds sends a changeup over the net and drops it in. Charlie Dodds took a big swing that time, but just hit the ball for fingertips, and I think that bigger swing really fooled the Webster City defense as the seas parted and the middle opened up for that ball to drop in. 2-1. Bulldogs on top. Knapp serving. It trickles over the net, and it results in an ace. Just a little deflection there right over the net, threw off the Webster City defense. It took their timing out of play, and it's 3-1 in favor of Algona. Here comes Knapp again. The Bulldog lone senior representative serves to her fellow libero, Morgan Hackbarth. Ball popped up there on the second touch by Prusman and sent over the net by Brim. Now Van Otterloo sets near side for Limbaugh, who parachutes in and brings down the hammer. That was a beautiful pass set spike for the Bulldogs, and you could see that coming from a mile away as Limbaugh got the running start and the big kill. Give her her 8th kill of the night and give the Bulldogs a 4-1 lead. Knapp serving effectively. Brim makes the initial touch. Now it is Davis sending it over to the Bulldogs. Knapp to Van Otterloo looking aside for Limbaugh. Here she comes again. Webster City blocked it this time with Davis. Kept alive by Algona. Now Dodds will try, but she misfires into the net. And Webster City gets a point back to make it 4-2. Bulldogs up by 2 here in set number 3. Getting ready for a big weekend coming up as Algona hosts their home tournament on Saturday, and you would love to go into that 4-0 if you're the Bulldogs. The tough competition coming in as the service ace is delivered by Popin. Was able to serve it low, and Van Tiger couldn't dig that out in the back row for Algona as it's 4-3. No weekend tournament this weekend for Webster City. They will get ready for Clear Lake on Tuesday after tonight. Van Tiger, little trouble there on the pass, and then Dodds can't find Dunning near side of the court. Initial pass off target, and Webster City will tie things up at 4 apiece. Popin again, standing almost in the padding behind the basketball baseline. She will misfire on the air. That serving air goes into the net, and it's 5-4 Bulldogs who inch back in front here in set 3. 2-0 lead right now for Algona. Dodds down to our right. Approaches and offers the serve to Webster City, but she pulled it out of bounds. Was trying to locate that near corner, but missed out of bounds. The teams trade service errors back and forth, and we're locked up at 5 apiece in this third set. Early NCC action. Bulldogs playing their first NCC match of the year, as are the Lynx. Algona, of course, had 3 2-0 wins at that Spencer Early Bird tournament. A lot of them in convincing fashion as a rocket ball serve by Wright. Didn't have enough trajectory on it. Goes into the net. And another service error, as we've had quite the string here of serves going into the net from both sides. It is 6-5 Algona. We'll see if Limbaugh is able to break up the serving malaise here as Limbaugh gets this one over the net. Popped up in the air on the serve received by Hackbarth. Up front, Davis plays the free ball over to Algona. Van Otterloo setting it near side for Haynes. Haynes attacking. Haynes splitting uprights in the back row. Reagan Haynes the kill. Algona the 7-5 lead. Haynes came into this one number 2 in the Bulldogs in kills. Limbaugh for another serve. Limbaugh rockets it back row. Backpedaling is Putney making the initial touch. Here's the attack by Prusman. Bulldogs try to block it, but Prusman, or I should say Barnabas, is able to wipe that off the block of the Bulldogs and make it 7-6. Webster City kill. Hackbarth serves, sends it over to Limbaugh. Limbaugh, two-hand touch over to Van Otterloo. Now her set to Haynes will be hit into the net, and the Bulldogs will see Webster City tie this one up at 7 apiece, as that third touch won't go over the net. So Webster City has shown plenty of fight coming out here in set number 3 with a 2-0 deficit. Hackbarth knuckleballs it over. Dodds gets the pass to Van Otterloo, stays out of the net. The attack by Dunning is blocked right back to her, and Webster City, with the rejection, takes an 8-7 lead. Lynx doing a better job blocking at the net here as the match goes on tonight. A better job receiving serves as well. Right now they're hanging onto the serve themselves with Hackbarth. Serves to Limbaugh on the Bulldog side. Van Otterloo up in there to Haynes. Haynes, big attack, and she puts it down. It was Prusman and Nidegger coming up to contest that one, but Haynes put a lot of English on that to tie it at 8. Picks up her second kill of this set, and 4th kill of the night, as the Bulldogs and the Lynx tied at 8 in set number 3. Dunning from the middle of the court, approaches and jump serves into the back row to the backpedaling Hackbarth. Finds Wright, sets to the backside for Prusman, down the line, popped up in the air by Limbaugh, and then the ball goes into the ceiling and drops on the Bulldog side. That ball came down a little bit quicker than the Bulldogs were expecting after that ceiling touch. Accelerated the ball down as the Bulldog hardwood, and it's 9-8 Webster City. Prusman over to our left, elevates and serves. Limbaugh, a little trouble there, got it to Van Otterloo, and then pushed over by McLaughlin. Right setting for Webster City. The attack on the way by Popin, out of bounds. Out beyond the baseline. We are tied at 9 apiece. Not a bad short set there for Webster City, but Popin got a little too much on that. And Taylor Van Otterloo to serve. Spins it over the net. Dug in the back row by Burns for Webster City. Here's the attack coming in by Popin. Dug out by the Bulldogs. Now McLaughlin attacks. It is stuffed back by the Lynx. The 5'10 sophomore Barnabas had her hands all over that one, and it's 10-9 Webster City. Not wanting to relinquish the lead in this third set. Bulldogs got out to the early lead, but then Webster City stormed back in front, and the teams have virtually traded points since that time as Barnabas sends the serve over. Limbaugh makes initial contact, finds Van Otterloo, sets near side to Dodds. Dodds cross-court attack, and she puts it in the middle of the hardwood to tie it at 10. Charlie Dodds, kill number 4 of the night. And we are tied at 10 here in set 3. Van Tiger in for the Bulldogs. She will serve. A step in front of the basketball baseline is Van Tiger. She sets up and jump surges it over the net. Hackbarth will pass it up to Prusman. Prusman looking for Wright. Wright will hit it cross court to Limbaugh. Now it's Dodds for Algona. Dodds had that ball tipped at the net by Webster City. Lynx will keep it alive. Ball's near the net. Bulldogs try to block it. Ball trickles back on the Webster City side. Kept alive again. Hackbarf to right. Right down the line to Knapp for the Bulldogs. Up in the air to Van Otterloo, looking for Limbaugh. Limbaugh trying to finish off the point, and she does. Webster City will punch it around a couple of times, but it'll drop harmlessly out of bounds for a Bulldog point. And Algona inches back in front, 11-10 in this third set. Van Tiger again, the junior sends it over. Hackbarf almost went down to the knees to dig that one. A set in the middle, and the kill by Popin, who wipes it off the Bulldog block attempt. Having a good third set. That's another Lynx point. Tying things up at 11. Digger now to serve it. One of the many seniors on the Webster City roster, very senior-laden team. Serves it back row to Knapp. Van Otterloo to Limbaugh. Limbaugh drills it off the block attempt for a Bulldog point. Davis went for the contest, but Limbaugh with another well-played ball to make it 12-11 Algona as she picks up kill number 9 of the night. Bulldogs are back to Knapp, serving-wise. Knapp line drives into the back row to Hackbarf. Prusman setting it for Davis. Davis had to backpedal a step there before right-handing it over the net. Bulldogs set up the Limbaugh attack. Oh, and Limbaugh brings the pain. Limbaugh with another serious kill for the Bulldogs. Her 10 for the night. It's 13-11. She hit that one so hard, the net is entirely twisted up right now, and the official has to untangle it on the near side of the court. But it wasn't Limbaugh that touched the net. It was the ball that touched the net. As long as the player doesn't make contact, you are good to go. Shorter serve by Knapp that time. Webster City able to get the set over to Davis, but Davis drills it into the net, and it's 14-11 Algona. Bulldogs have scored 4 in a row, and Coach Howard wants a timeout for Webster City before this third set gets away. Bulldogs have a 2-0 lead. They lead 14-11 in the third set on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass for all your glass needs. Think American.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona tree service.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch and Daniel Foth.
Ed Service Station, service you can trust.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Sports club members bringing you this game. Sponsors of this game broadcast.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Ruhnke Brothers. Experience the Ruhnke Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eichen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction. Let them do the work.
Water Connection. From softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
As we resume, the ball is punched over the net by Popin for Webster City. Now Bulldogs will have Limbaugh pushed back across. There in the back row is Brimman to make the play for Webster City. Right attacks. Right's too strong. It's out of bounds. This Bulldog run extends. It's a 5-0 scoring run, and Algona leads 15-11 in the third set. Algona trying for a clean sweep tonight after winning the first two. Knapp serves into the back row. Brim overpasses. Bulldogs will tap it back over, and Webster City tries to return a free ball to Algona, but we have this is going to be over the net on Webster City. Point for the Bulldogs. All right, so one of the Webster City players crossed over the plane as Coach Howard will get an explanation of the call, and it is a 16-11 Bulldog lead. Now a 6-0 run against Webster City. The Bulldog players smiling, looking very relaxed right now after some tense moments there early in the set when Webster City came out swinging. Bulldogs have put a little more cover between themselves and the Lynx, but obviously now is the time to slam on the gas and try to finish this off in 3 sets if you're Algona. Bulldogs have not lost a single set so far this season, and they are trying to keep it that way as they'll head into their home tournament this weekend. Always a lot of good competition at the Bulldog home tournament. Bulldogs will usually see the likes of Lake Mills, someone like Sioux Center. Sometimes you'll get Forest City coming out of the woodwork into the Bulldog home tournament, which will get underway on Saturday. Speaking of things at home football tomorrow night. Big one for the Bulldogs as the number 5 ranked team in 3A takes on the number 1 ranked team in 2A as Algona welcomes Kemper Catholic for their home opener. Davis will send it over the net as we resume. Dumped over on second contact by Van Otterloo, but Webster City right there to play the ball. Right attacks the other way. It trickles up the top of the net. A diving save by Limbaugh initially, but then it is flushed back over by Webster City. That was Davis getting the point for Webster City, and the Bulldog 6-0 scoring run comes to an end. That fluttering ball was taken advantage of by the Lynx, and it is 16-12 as Popin serves back row. Van Tiger backpedals. Well, to hit it sideways to Knapp. Now it is Dunning punching it over the net. Here's Barnefus setting for Wright. Wright tries to hammer it down, but is dug by Van Tiger for Algona. Limbaugh the other direction, and Limbaugh finds the hardwood. Kill number 11 for Limbaugh, who's having a great night, and it's 17-12 Bulldogs. Putney checks into the Webster City back row as Popin will hit the pine. And Dawes will serve for Algona as the student section barks in encouragement. Webster City will push the ball across the Bulldog side after the Dawes serve. Knapp from the back row, and it is flushed by Davis. That ball is barely over the net. Davis jumped right up to block it. Back into the Bulldog side to make it 17-13. Speaking of barking, I've got to appreciate the playlist for Algona. They're playing some Baja Men, Who Let the Dogs Out in between sets, which, fair enough, honestly. Sticking to the mascot theme as Limbaugh attacks from the near side. Webster City staves it off. Met is waving around here in the Bulldogs round of hits. 4 hits as that ball by Limbaugh never got over the net, and it is 17-14. Lynx were down by as many as 6. They're down by 3 right now in this third set. Right. Knuckleballs the serve over. Dodds deflection to Van Tiger, and then it's pushed over by Van Otterloo. Almost found the soft spot in the defense. Lynx do a great job staying out of the net as Wright got the ball over to Putney, who returned the ball to the Bulldogs. Limbaugh attacks the other way, and Limbaugh drills it home again. Off the block attempt of Davis. Limbaugh's taking over these late stages of the third set. She has 12 kills tonight, and it's 18-14 Bulldogs. And now Limbaugh will serve. I'm sure Coach Berkey and staff knew that Limbaugh was coming up for the middle school pipeline, but what a welcome sight to see the freshman in the lineup as Limbaugh delivers a service ace. It's off the hands of Putney, who taps her chest and says, "My bad." And the Bulldogs have reestablished a 5-point lead, 19-14. After some of the graduations the Bulldogs had from last year's team, Limbaugh much needed as her serve will trickle off the tape and drop over. It drops over for her second straight ace. It's 20-14 Bulldogs, and just like that, it's back to a 6-point lead in set number 3. Webster City needs a timeout, and the Bulldogs are trying to take command on their home hardwood. Bulldogs up 2-0. They lead the third set 20-14 right here on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Erpeldine Voigt and Company, CPAs, they're not just about taxes.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Good Samaritan Society, Algona's senior housing and service rooted in God's love.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona. Call 515-320-2491.
Algona taking control of the third set as we resume. It's 20-14. Trouble with the serve again for Webster City, but they'll eventually push the ball back over to Algona. Here's a set for Haynes. Haynes tries to bring down the hammer, but brought it down a little bit too hard as the ball sails out of bounds beyond the Webster City baseline. Algona up 20-15. They lead 2-0 here on Hometown Radio KLGA Algona. Hackbarth quickly serves the other way for Webster City. Dodds backpedals, finds Van Otterloo. Van Otterloo got that ball over the net on the second touch. Webster City returns it back to the Bulldogs. A short set in the middle for Dunning. Set was a little off target and a little misfire there by Dunning, who lifted the ball. And it's 20-16 Lynx. The ball didn't get over the net, but the lift was called anyway, so a point for Webster City regardless. Hackbarth serves to Dodds. Here comes Haynes flying in. Haynes on the attack. Was that ball tipped? No, it was not. It goes out of bounds as Haynes a bit too strong in those last 2 attack attempts. And it's 20-17. Algona on top of Webster City's Lynx. Crawling back in again. Served by Hackbarth. Bulldogs will attack with Dunning, and Dunning's attack out of bounds. Bulldogs are just trying to do a little too much right now to put this away. And Coach Berkey is sensing that exact fact for Algona as she will call a timeout. The Lynx back in this at 20-18. Quite similar to the second set, folks. Algona won the first set 25-13. They really were never challenged in that first set, but Webster City came out in the second set. They played a lot better, and it looked at the end like the Bulldogs had it won. They were up 24-20, but the Lynx came back. They tied it at 24 before the Bulldogs ultimately won the second set, 27-25. Here in the third set, it was a 20-14 Bulldog lead. It looked like they had this all but put away, and once again, the Lynx have battled back, but again, part of that, I just think the Bulldog hitters right now are trying to do just a little bit too much. It's time now to put some pressure on the Webster City defense, put that ball in play, force Webster City to return it here and force them to play from behind with the pressure on. Dodds receives the serve. Van Otterloo on the second touch to Haynes. Haynes gets this one in play. Pinballed around by the Lynx. It is Barnabas attacking, blocked back by the Bulldogs. Dunning tried to hammer the ball that was floating at the net, and she hits it into the net. It's 20-19. Webster City has ripped off a 5-0 scoring run, and they are trying to battle back from the brink of what could have potentially been a 3-0 loss. It's 20-19. Hackbarth serves. Limbaugh makes the initial touch. Van Otterloo back to Limbaugh. Limbaugh drills the ball over the net. Dug out by Putney in the back row. And then a misfire on the ensuing attack. That was nearly a swing and a miss by Barnabas, who's had some great moments in the third set, but she very nearly missed that ball entirely on that left side attack as it's 21-19. Dunning serves for Algona, sends the knuckleball over the net. Wright will set. Nydigger hits it across the court. Tipped over by McLaughlin for Algona. Barnabas down the line. Bulldogs tip it over, and they can't cover the blockers that time. Ball got deflected backwards, and it's a 1-point set again. 21-20. Algona hanging on to a 1-point margin right now. Prusman now for Webster City serving. Here's Prusman. Rockets the ball. Dodds. Almost overpassed it. Van Otterloo tried to hit it over on second contact. Lynx blocked it. Here's the Haynes attack, and it is out of bounds, and we are tied at 21. Just too many attack errors late here in the third set for the Bulldogs as they have opened it up for Webster City to get back into this, and we are tied at 21 apiece. Prusman, low serve, it's into the net. A big mistake by Webster City, and we are tied at 22. Prusman went for the aggressive low line drive serve, and the Bulldogs will take that certainly to get the serve back in their hands. Van Otterloo sends it over. Here's Wright tapping it. Here's the attack by Barnabas, and Barnabas puts it down into the back corner. We are tied at 22. An entertaining third set so far as Barnabas now serves. Barnabas serving left to right. Sends a rainbow serve into the back row. Limbaugh up to Van Otterloo, attacked by McLaughlin, blocked. McLaughlin will get it back over after the block by Webster City. And then pushed across by Barnabas, who pushed it way out of bounds. Boy, Barnabas wasn't trying to do too much there, you thought, but she aimed it for the back corner and tried to be way too fine, sending that near the Bulldogs student section. Big misfire there for Webster City, and the Bulldogs are up by 1, 23-22. Van Tiger into the back row to Hackbarth. Bad pass, almost went into the crowd, but it was saved by Wright, and Hackbarth settles for a free ball. Nap to Van Otterloo. Here comes Limbaugh, and Limbaugh is able to deliver the kill. The deflection went into the ceiling off the hands of Webster City. Ball landed out of bounds anyways, and it's set point, match point for the Bulldogs. 24-22 off of Limbaugh's 13th kill of the night. Van Tiger again serves to Hackbarth. Ball deflects sideways, and the Lynx will have to punch it over into the middle of the Bulldog defense. Nap to Van Otterloo, looking for Limbaugh. Limbaugh trying to finish it off. Ball's in the ceiling. Can the Lynx save it? Yes, they can. They'll get it over. McLaughlin to Van Otterloo, looking for McLaughlin, and McLaughlin spun it over! She spun it over the net, and the Bulldogs win it in three! 25-13, 27-25, and 25-22. Hayden McLaughlin has the set ending point in 2 out of the 3 sets tonight, and the Bulldogs are going to take this one in straight sets over a scrappy Webster City opponent. Final in this one tonight, 3-0. Bulldogs win it. They improve the record to 4-0. Webster City drops to 6-4. We'll take one final timeout and wrap it up after this on Hometown Radio KLGA and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by extreme cold weather and severe storms. Whether it's snow, ice, or extreme wind, don't be caught in the dark. At Murphy Farm Services, our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at its maximum efficiency. Contact your local certified ag, electrical, and generator sales and service dealer. Murphy Farm Services, delivering the power you need when you need it.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
It's a win tonight in 3 sets for the Algona Bulldogs here on Hometown Radio KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube live stream as Algona ends up defeating Webster City tonight in straight sets. Boy, after the first set, you thought the Bulldogs might just roll tonight and not have too much of a challenge, but that was not the case as Webster City played a couple of hard-fought sets, set number 2 and set number 3, but ultimately they come up on the short end of both of those as the Bulldogs will win this one tonight 25-13, 27-25, and 25-22 to improve their overall record to 4-0 and pick up their first win in NCC play. 1-0 to start the season in the NCC is always big, especially because you don't want to look too far ahead, but you have Humboldt looming down the pipeline next week as far as conference play is concerned. Of course, you have your home tournament to take advantage of this weekend if you're at Algona, but a matchup against state-ranked Humboldt will await the Bulldogs next week on the road as well. So a lot of big things on the horizon for Algona as they will drop Webster City to 6-4, and the Lynx, after losing just one conference match last season, will start off the season 0-1 in North Central Conference play. But a couple keys for the Bulldogs tonight and a couple of things that went wrong for Webster City. Well, that first set was all Algona, and part of that was Webster City just had a really tough time on the serve receive. A lot of errant passes, a lot of miscommunications, a lot of bobbling the serves around. Just a lot of issues in that first set for Webster City. To their credit, they made the adjustments, they cleaned things up, and the second and third sets, I would say, were much more representative of how close these two teams are in talent as they played right down to the end, but the Bulldogs won both the second and third set by scores of 27-25 and 25-22. And what a night it was on the Algona side of things for Kate Limbaugh. Led the way with 13 kills in this match, and of course we saw the stats from the Spencer tournament. We were waiting to see her on her home hardwood for the first time this season and first time as a varsity player, and she did not disappoint. There's some athletes where you say, you know, they're good multi-sport athletes. Maybe volleyball's not their main sport, but they're out here on the volleyball team. But Kate Limbaugh is a volleyball player, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be seeing that hopefully for the next 4 years here on the Algona Bulldog hardwood. But we saw it here tonight firsthand as she had 13 kills, a lot of key moments. Bulldogs were doing a great job of setting the ball to her time and time again on offense and really saying, hey, our 6-foot-tall hitter on the outside, let's take advantage of that as much as possible when we're in the right spot. So Bulldogs were able to do that tonight to get their way to a 3-0 win over the Webster City Lynx. So a good win here for the Bulldogs as they will get ready for a big weekend tournament at home coming up on Saturday. Big sports weekend for us getting started tomorrow night here on Hometown Radio KLGA as Brian Wilson and Todd Van Otterloo have the call. 2 state-ranked teams, Algona hosting Kemper Catholic. Pre-game coverage starting at 6 o'clock on 92.7, and the HS Broadcasting YouTube stream will have the video stream of that game. So, big night coming up tomorrow in high school football. We hope you'll join us for all that great action right here on Hometown Radio. We're going to wrap things up for tonight. This has been a sports production of KLGA and the Algona Radio YouTube stream as Algona defeats Webster City 3-0.